Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I see you all dropping in, and I would expect some of you to be watching it on demand later as well. So, because you have reached out and you said this timing doesn't work out, so that's totally fine. I'm looking forward to reaching you all. We are both the speaker and I, Mia and I, both look forward to reaching you all even after the session's done. The video is going to be available in the same link on demand as well. So feel free to watch this at your own time. But we'd really appreciate and be excuse me, we'd be more than happy to take your questions during the live stream as well. And you'll be sending your questions here in the chat, and Mia's there, and she'll be able to answer as well. But before I share the screen and conference Mia into this session, just want to give like 30 to 30 seconds to 60 seconds for folks to join in, because I know a lot of you just got received the link here in the chat as well. So let's just give everyone a minute before we get started, if that is okay. Can someone confirm in the chat that you're able to hear me okay? Thumbs up, something, please. Yes, okay, awesome. That's great. 30 more seconds. Awesome. So let's get started. Welcome, everyone. I know you're all doing great and you're in the build phase of Pachamama 2026. A lot of you have already submitted progress from Touchpoint 1, more than 500 ideas, amazing ideas. I've gone through most of them. And there are a few who have reached out and asked for a little bit more time for updating the Touchpoint 1. So that's totally fine. You have time until Touchpoint 2 to get both the submissions in Touchpoint 1 and 2, because we have more fields, more information that you will have to submit in terms of your progress of the build phase. So just to give a small insight for a speaker about what Pachamama is, I've already talked to her about it, but I just wanted to record this here in case you're just coming in live and watching it um, on demand. So, Pachamama is one of the initiatives that we kicked off last year for developers, but this one is specific to working women professionals or women professionals in general who are experienced and currently looking for opportunities, or currently having ideas and aspiring to be entrepreneurs, or looking for transformation in the jobs that they're already in, or completely happy where they are but still want to learn and evolve and progress their learning curve, progress in their ideas, and so many other things. Or they just want to have the network, the camaraderie, and be a part of something larger like this, something that brings a lot of developers from a global scale together and get stuff built and delivered. So that's one of the many reasons why you're all here. Thank you so much for being there. And as of Pachamama 2026, the one thing that we wanted to do differently from the time from when it started is to scale it. And because a lot of you reached out last year when we just limited it to 100 women professionals, there were so many requests asking for this to be at scale, and a lot of them wanted to join, but we couldn't accommodate because we first wanted to do it for a limited set of folks and see what the pain points are, how people are able to interact, how are they getting the assistance, the networking opportunities, and all that. So we started off small, but this year we wanted to scale to 2,000 women. But to our surprise, the response to the registration was overwhelming. We crossed about 6,000 and we shortlisted, and all 2,000, 3,500 of you made it through the learning phase, or even more than that, a few of the folks who joined in on demand later and reached out asking to be a part of that. So, yes, you have all been shortlisted and handpicked, like manually reviewed and shortlisted for the various domains and technology backgrounds, or any background for that matter, as long as you had the fire in the belly to get your idea transformed into application or wherever you are in the learning journey. So that's a little bit of where we are in Pachamama 2026. Like it always has been, the learn, build, and evolve, the three phases. Right now, you're in the build phase. And as part of this, we also have, as part of the evolve phase, we also have the finale as part of, in collaboration with NASCOM, the NASCOM's Confluence, which is in September on 24th. A lot of you already know about it. Details about the finalists, details about who gets to present, the top 10, details about the top 100 who get the passes to go there, and other details where you can buy the passes once the results are announced. All that in the upcoming weeks once the three touch points are over. But in the meantime, we have an amazing speaker. We have an amazing leader, a tech industry leader, Mia, who's been prolific in this field, and she has over a decade experience in the technology, and in AI right now. An AI keynote speaker. She's a CEO of Automate Social, global cloud partner, corporate team trainer. So she has so many roles in her kitty, and she just told me right before this call that she's absolutely thrilled about everything that this program stands for, and has always been meaning to be part of something like this, or in her own initiatives too. She tries to prioritize what we envision through Pachamama. So without further delay, I would like to invite Mia. I'm just going to add her to the call. She's in the waiting, so let me just do that really quickly. Over to you, Mia.
Hello, everybody. It's a true pleasure to be here, and we are going to have an amazing session today, all focused on women and women adopting and using AI. And I know it's a huge gap in the market right now, and a lot of people feel a bit of fear around it. And there's a lot of messaging around inequality in the space. But today is going to be a much better good news story, because women are really placed for such a good competitive advantage with AI systems, and we're often not taught in a way that complements our skill set, complements our way of working. So today's going to be all about helping you gain a competitive advantage with AI instead of following the traditional narrative that is taught to us so often in the media. So lovely to be here, and let's dive right in. You can see everything all good?
Yes, Mia, you can go on.
Wonderful. So recently I received a voice note from a woman who was really distressed. She was telling me about how AI was getting away from her. She was really struggling to learn artificial intelligence. She was a really intelligent business owner, an entrepreneur, running a team of 4. The types of things she was saying in this message were really emotional. Really, she had felt like she'd watched so many YouTube videos, tried so many avenues to learn AI, and it was falling out of her grasp. And she said, and I quote, nope.
Are you able to share, Mia?
Yeah, sorry, shit.
And also, there is a little pop-up dialog that comes on the side about the meeting. You can close that out. You can just share your slides. Should we good?
Sure. All good?
Yes.
And I quote, I don't know if I can keep up anymore. I feel like everybody else already knows how to use AI and I don't. And I thought about this message and the countless messages I have received during my 10 years in tech, 5 years in business, and multiple years in keynote training and speaking, and realized that I don't think that it's women that are the problem, or it's their capabilities that are the problem. Because I believe most AI training looks a bit like this image. We are surrounded by a sea of male-dominated training that is not necessarily wrong or bad training, but it's really not suited to our own needs and our own style of working. It leaves us feeling quite burnt out, quite frustrated or confused, and with the shame that we can't actually keep up with the rest of our male counterparts. And a lot of women don't realize that they are being trained in AI and AI systems in a way that's sometimes polar opposite to how they're actually meant to be trained. And I like to think of AI training and women getting into AI more like this image: a garden where we can be connected through our relationships, through our tone, through our emotional intelligence, and through how we truly connect deeply. Because AI is craving emotional resonance and craving all of the things that women are naturally best placed for. And yet we are still running our AI tools like men. So my name is Mia, and as mentioned, I'm an international AI trainer and keynote speaker. I've spoken across Dubai, Australia, Asia, the US. I trained over 5,500 people, got awarded Young Entrepreneur of the Year, and I run a AI and social media business called Automate Social. And more relevant and more exciting, I've partnered with this incredible organization called Tech Ready Women, who we are launching a series of women-only, women-focused AI training programs that are all embedded with how women learn AI best. And we were really shocked when we launched this program because of the sheer volume of male-dominated training out there and just how little there was that existed that was really tailored for women needs. So this mission is not a small one, but it's really important. And I think by the end of this, you're going to maybe make some changes in your own way of working and not feel so much frustration when it comes to learning AI. So at the moment, women in the workforce today, there's 26% of new AI hires are women, whereas 74% of them were men. So this is sourced from the LinkedIn 2025 AI hiring data and the Women in Tech Network 2026. And 25% of non-AI hires were women. So this is a really staggering result, and these numbers can be contested, so you do need to do various amounts of research, but we've really seen a large gap in the way that women are getting opportunities with AI and men are dominating the AI space. And the gap isn't closing, it's widening. So as men start to adopt AI at rapid rates, the LLMs are actually being trained on male ways of working, whereas women's way of working and the way that our style of working is actually starting to be pushed more and more to the side. And so we really have to make sure this doesn't happen. But there's a lot of myths when it comes to women learning AI, and I'm sure that all of you are on a tech journey. You're in the tech capital of India, many of you, Bangalore, and you're probably very well versed with technology. But within the wider context, there are a lot of narratives that women are being taught. They're saying women are more cautious or risk adverse, they need time to trust the tools, or another myth that women just aren't into technology, but neither are true. And the core reason for women's reduction in AI adoption and also AI acceleration, so being able to really push forward and accelerate into unprecedented heights with AI, is women, we don't work in straight lines. We are not linear, structured beings. Most AI productivity constantly assumes a straight line, same energy, same focus every single day. And this is because of the 24-hour cycle in comparison to the 28-day cycle. So men operate on a 24-hour cycle circadian rhythm, whereas the infradian rhythm is a 28-day cycle where our energy, creativity, and focus shifts along 28 days rather than these structured linear lines. And nature doesn't work this way either. So it's not that we're handicapped by this in any means. It's just a natural way of working and a really important thing to understand when you're starting to adopt AI platforms. So you can think about examples of this. So in hibernation, bears, they go into their caves after long periods of fighting, and they go and sleep for months, rest, and get restoration. Birds also migrate and have bursts of seasons when they are either stationary or they're flying across oceans. And women's cycles really do work in the same way. We are not made for this 24-hour cycle. We actually work in these incredible energy bursts, which, if we can start to harness this rather than work against it, it becomes our competitive advantage when using AI models. So I'll give you a little story to share how much this actually changed my way of working with AI. I started my first business in 2021, and I learned all of my information and knowledge from men. So I was studying a lot of the ways that the masculine does business. I was also I also had male mentors, and I had a lot of my information was coming from men, and it was fantastic information. It really helped me grow my business. But slowly I started to really burn out. I thought that I had to work on these really strict schedules. And I don't know if any of you have done this, but looking at the morning routine videos and people waking up at a certain time and doing the same routine every single day, and jumping in an ice bath or taking a run early in the morning. And I tried all of this and I felt like I just couldn't make it work. And then one day, after completely burning myself out, I decided, you know what? I'm going to just listen to my own natural way of working, and I'm going to start managing my work in bursts. And this was at the same time that I found AI, and I first opened up ChatGPT for the first time back in the day. And I started to use ChatGPT and AI systems and trialing out different tools when I had my most energy in these bursts of creativity. I would pretty much work like a farmer harvesting a field. I would set up all these fantastic automations and creativity when I was really feeling at my peak in my cycle. And then that would tie me over for when I was feeling a bit low and I wanted to work less hours. And the amount of work that I did in my highly energetic days of the month versus the automations that were set up to tie me over to those days completely changed the way I worked. And I had agents backing me up when I wanted to rest and recuperate. And I was also able to produce some of my absolute best work because I wasn't pushing myself during my low periods. I was accelerating during my high periods. And this cyclical nature is so important to understand with AI because we have a true competitive advantage in our large bursts of energy. And this is the time that you can harvest and you can really start to grow all of these tools and automations. So when you do feel a bit more low energy, you can have some fantastic agents to help you out. And AI systems can really match your cycle, not fight it. So your admin can get automated so you can rest when you don't need to. Low energy weeks can be carried by agents. Creative peaks stay yours. When you're in migration mode, you can really own that state of being. And integration weeks are protected for reflection, not filled with output. And I really believe for the first time in history, with AI and the time saving that it comes with, it can really start to support our own different work style. We don't have to be set into a 9 to 5 regime anymore. We can set up automations that are going to help those times. And I really want people to start to think about the factory versus the garden. A lot of AI training and the way that we're taught AI is in this factory mindset. So put input in, get thing out, put something on a conveyor belt, get something out. But the way that women work is so much more nuanced and beautiful. we have a really clear understanding of creativity, how things work, how to nurture things. And this is something that we can build our LLM systems around. So garden thinking is about tending to a garden, working on things that need support and need help. It isn't just setting up the same processes in a factory-like mindset and getting burnt out from it. It's actually tending to this garden, growing it, adding some extra beauty to this garden when we need to. And it also reduces so much shame that we feel for not having this factory mindset and not feeling great when we're operating in this factory mindset, because we really are made to nurture and to create gardens and to do something beautiful for the world rather than having to follow every single rigid timeline. And because AI is such an equalizer and any of us can use it and adopt it, it doesn't mean that we have to be forced into these pigeonholes anymore. We can really make AI work for us and our own competitive advantage. Now, this is all great in theory, and okay, yep, I want to start to work in cycles and I want to start to think more like a garden. But what is the mode of thinking that helps you tap into your greatest competitive advantage? How do you actually know what things to work on that are going to help you accelerate versus having to do the same things that everyone else is doing? And we've coined this new model in Australia called the AI Women's Intelligence Model. And this is based on 4 female naturally occurring intelligences that really helps women use AI in a way that's their competitive advantage. At the start of this year, I met Renate, the CEO of Tech Ready Women, and we decided to talk about launching a women-focused AI training program. And we were shocked by what we found available to women with AI learning. There was a tiny, minuscule amount of AI training specifically related to women. And we even asked Claude and said, are there any AI training programs for Claude specifically related to women? And Claude said, no. I'm sure that Claude hallucinates sometimes, but we just saw this huge gap between women having to learn AI like men and really having to work out of their natural cycles and also not stepping into their competitive edge either. So we launched an incredible series of women-focused AI training programs. I would love to invite some of you to them as well. We're running some free webinars in October, and we're training women to start to use their competitive advantage and use their own intelligence to work on these AI systems. And these 4 intelligences are something that every single one of you has, and men have as well, but they really shine brightly in the way that women work. The first one is emotional intelligence, so knowing which questions to ask, knowing how to import emotions into AI. If you think about AI without emotional intelligence, it is like talking to a robot, because it is like talking to a robot. And these LLMs, they are desperate for emotional resonance. They really need to start to sound more like humans in order to excel. So, for instance, if there's an LLM that is able to pick up human emotion a lot better than another one, humans are naturally emotional beings, so we're going to start to focus on those LLMs. So it's a hugely competitive advantage to have emotions with AI. The second one is relational intelligence. So the connections and the understandings of building relationships into these AI models. And relational intelligence is not something to be discounted. You might think, yeah, I've got great relationships in my life, but how does that relate to AI? AI is all about making connections, building relationships, building out these highly connected agents that can actually reflect true relationships. And this is a really lucrative part of AI. Then thirdly, there's tone and beauty. I don't know if you've tried creating content for the first time with these LLMs, but it comes out pretty badly. There's some awful looking content out there and a lot of things that people are shipping with AI right now. they really don't have that beauty element to them. It's very dry, very functional documents, and that's where women's competitive advantage can come in. It's very similar to a lot of renovation projects I see my friends doing with their husbands or partners. Often the guy is building all these different parts of furniture and fixing the walls, while a lot of my friends, the women, are making the home look beautiful and lived in. And both are so unbelievably important with AI. And if we keep on trying to focus on things that don't come naturally, then we'll only be the sum of average. But if we focus more on things that come naturally to us, we can truly accelerate. And then the fourth intelligence is creativity. Natural born creators we are, knowing what's worth making, adding creativity to these LLMs, and producing something that people have never seen before. A lot of the automations in AI are soon going to be taken over by agents, admins, structures, systems, and the things that are left are natural women, feminine skills, which are these four intelligences. So they are going to be the most lucrative skill sets in the future, and learning how to harness AI in this way is going to be amazing. So we'll start off with emotional intelligence, and this is a really interesting phenomenon in AI. Most of the structured and systematic work is being automated at a rapid rate, but that's really falling behind on emotional resonance and emotional intelligence. You think about if you've ever had to speak to a chatbot, you've been lucky enough to speak to a chatbot of a major bank or something, you really don't feel understood. You feel frustrated, you feel annoyed, you just want to speak to a human. And imagine if you stepped into your power when it comes to your natural emotional intelligence and started to offer services or ability to tune the LLMs to connect more with emotions. And this is something that you think, oh, well, like, why would AI want that? It's because this specific skill set is so hard to train an LLM, but you can understand patterns and you can understand what people want in such a deeper way. And it's a really great place to actually begin with your with learning how to use AI to your strengths. Now, a bit of an emotional intelligence hack with inserting this into your LLMs and into your workflows is what I call the context MD file. This is something that a lot of you may have already created if you're using LLMs, but it's pretty much an entire context roadmap on how you want the AI to speak, what you want it to say, how you want it to show up, what tone. And if you think about the structured factory mindset, it's just a set of steps. But this is where you can really get creative and really insert your own personality and tone and understanding of people and emotional intelligence into the LLMs. And this sort of context, emotional intelligence building has a profound effect on the output of your content. So an output of not only your content, but also your documents, your emails, your communication. If you start to really focus on honing in on your context MD file, which can sit within your LLM, that is a really great place to begin. I'd be happy to share an example of the context MD file or a skill to actually create your own as well. I can share that after the session. And this is something that instead of you just typing away into, I would highly recommend using a voice to text feature on your LLM, or you can use something like Whisperflow. So instead of you just typing away, you can actually produce this document 4 times faster. And it's awesome how much impact this really makes. The second model of intelligence is relational intelligence. Business and work and your job is a series of trust moments, not transactions. And the reason why a lot of people excel is because of their relationships and their ability to connect dots that other people can't. Machines can automate technical tasks, but not trust or context. The AI we teach women to build drafts and prepares and schedules. It never sends without you. So this relational intelligence is a really interesting and underutilized part of artificial intelligence. A lot of people are focusing on things like, I've got to automate this, I've got to set this up, I've got to reduce this task. But it's such a high level skill that comes naturally to women that they're really not harnessing at the moment. So this, a hack that I like to teach people is giving agents personalities or giving your LLM personality. And this basically means that instead of you just saying, automate this task for me, you can give your agent a personality of who it is, where they came from, what they look out for, what they think about, how they communicate to you. For instance, if you have a lot of automation tasks in a communications or customer service role, you can create a personality for an agent that is Carol in customer service, and she is kind and warm and friendly. She always thinks about other people. She thinks about what she can do. She maybe always answers the message with hello honey or hello sweetheart. And you can really build out these different characters into your LLMs. And this does two things. It creates a lot more connection with customers, and it creates this really much deeper relationship with the AI outcomes that you're producing. And it also helps your AI systems respond better to you and respond better to your instructions, because they have a really clear role, they know who they are, and the more personality you give them, the better that they'll actually perform the tasks that you want them to. And thirdly, we've got tone and beauty. And I don't know if you've seen a lot of the work produced in AI at the moment, but there's so much AI slop out there. You just go onto your LinkedIn feed and there's strange infographics that are clearly made by Claude. People are just mass producing work, then mass producing content, mass producing these relatively unattractive files. But you think about when someone gives you a gift, and even if it's not the most impressive gift, if it's wrapped beautifully, if the wrapping paper is nice and crisp and someone ties it up with a beautiful ribbon and there's lovely wrapping paper and they might even put that in a bag as well with a card, the elevation that that gift receives before you even open it is tenfold. You start to get excited and you see so much more value in that gift. Whereas imagine if someone just put that gift into a brown paper bag and wrapped it in newspaper, which is how a lot of AI outputs are being created at the moment. You would think, oh, don't really want this. Or even if it was a great gift, you would think, no, not really for me. So the naturally occurring intelligence in tone and beauty is really not to be discounted. And it's something that if you start to tap into and you really value that within your work and your workflows, you're going to see a lot of changes in your ability to charge more, your ability to produce better work. And these types of intelligences, your energy, your outputs and your best work comes from where your focus is. So if you're focusing on things you're not naturally you don't naturally love, you're not really great at, or you might be good at those systems and setups and structures, but you really want a bit more creativity. Then if you start to bucket and focus on the things that you're really good at that come naturally, you're going to get so much more out of your AI usage, and you're also going to create some really competitive skills of the future. And then fourth, we've got creativity. So when making things becomes instant, knowing what's worth making becomes the bottleneck. And we have a really big issue in our world at the moment, which is really focused on anybody can create anything. And you know that when your parents start using AI and start making AI images and even potentially AI apps, that, okay, we've entered into a new era of anybody can really create now. But when you tap into your inner creativity, and this could be you're really great at creating systems, or you're really great at creating strategies, or great at creating content, but you know that what you're really good at creating, and you can hone in on that and produce something that's unique. Uniqueness will become a really lucrative skill of the future. And so you can go from like these sort of simple automation skills that a lot of people are learning into producing art, to producing something unique, to producing something that people haven't seen created in these LLMs before. And it's amazing the difference it can make, because you stand out, you're producing something that's new, that's engaging, and it really helps with your job opportunities and enjoyment of AI and using these LLMs as well. And I know that you're all very, very in the tech space. You've been working hard, you're going through the program. But right now, we really need people like all of you to start to use AI with the feminine in mind, because the gap is dramatically closing. There's a lot of underpayment of women compared to men. There's a lot of women who are at high risk for automation jobs in admin and various other parts of the world. And there's 3 times the risk of automation for women jobs. And I would like to note that a lot of this data is contentious. It comes from various sources. So, but the stark reality of this is women are not adopting AI as fast as men. And also, women are not using AI to the best of their abilities. They're learning AI like men, and they're really finding it difficult and sometimes not fully reaching their potential in the areas that they are. So I really like practical implementation, and I like practical systems as well. So you might be thinking, okay, that's great. I want to start to work in cycles. I want to start to maybe focus on things that are more my natural skill set, but how do I do it? And there's just this 5-step structure that we've been training with Tech Ready Women and various other programs for women engagement. And the first thing starts with your context, your women-led context. And if you might have learned how to create context in AI before, you might have learned it very similar to creating an SOP document. But women are competitively placed to create really highly emotive, understanding, and relationship building context documents. And I really recommend that you spend a lot of time creating a context document. And where this sits, it can sit in a folder or within your context preferences in an LLM, or you can use it when you're doing certain projects. But it's pretty much a really clear skill or a prompt that helps build context into the work that you're doing. This is a really great place to start, and women are amazing at it. It's just unbelievable, the results that we've seen from, and the context documents that we've seen from our training programs. Just the level of detail, the level of care and understanding, things that like I didn't even think of, giving the AI personalities and giving it this ability to really feel and think in a way that reflects women intuition and intelligence. It's really incredible. The second one is finding the skills. So you might love systems and structures and automations, and that might be your jam as well. But finding a way to do that really accelerates your own way of working and your own skill set and your own passion. Because a lot of the jobs, they're focused on these like general automations. But if you can find a skill that you resonate with, you might love creating graphics, or you might love creating really intelligent systems, but hone in on that skill. Because if you focus on things that everybody else is doing, you'll become the sum of average. But if you focus on things that you're really well placed for, that are your naturally occurring skills, that's something so special that you can give to the world that nobody else can. And then number 3 is skills and schedule. Once you've got your context MD file, you've found the skill that you really want to focus on. If you set up various skills and schedule these skills as agents, that can help you accelerate what you're creating. And skills, prompts, whatever anyone wants to call them, they're a set of instructions that tells these LLMs how to act and operate like you. And the more women that we have telling AI how to be more like a woman, the better, because we can start to close that gap and start to insert a really peaceful and kind and empathetic and relationship focused voice into these LLM systems. And then you continue to train it on tone. You must have had many battles with LLMs and AI to this point. A couple of late nights talking to AI and just saying, you've got to listen to me. Why won't you do things the way I want you to? But training it on your tone is a really important part of it, and it's a place people don't really focus on enough. They just try to focus too much on the outputs and the automations, but the tone is something that will make your AI systems stand out and make them really special. And then, of course, hygiene, ensuring your AI systems are checked in on and your AI systems are cleaned up and your folder structure is nice and orderly is a really good place as well. So by using LLMs with women intelligence, we can bridge the gap, and it starts with boring skills, judgment, taste, and systems thinking. And if you want to get some inspiration to start to put some of these teachings in actions, here are some 10 fast actions. And I'm a bit of an action girl. I like things, I like to set up things quickly and experiment. And I think this could be a bit of a mood board for you to get that area done. Now, number 1 is tracking your cycle and moods and batching AI to match. This is not always possible, but I'd say when you feel really energetic and creative and inspired, it doesn't have to be so structured, but if you feel that really excited thing, it's okay if you want to work extra hours on your AI systems and you really want to start to push beyond the boundaries and create amazing work, because our energy and mood in those certain times of the month are just it's so magical and so amazing to see. And then with your automations, you can think about, okay, well, I don't feel so much shame around if I need to rest because I've done all this work in my seed planting time. And when it comes to the harvesting, I have agents set up that can do it. So really thinking about your energy levels and mood. And it doesn't matter if you're feeling low one day, because you can have these AI systems to help you. Number 2 is, of course, creating a context file for your AI voice, offer, and rules. This context file will become a way that your AI systems are distinguishable and stand out against other people's. Feed it your emails so it learns how to write in your tone. This is a really helpful thing. You can connect your Gmail or your Microsoft email, and you can just tell it to start to create a file that matches the same tone that you use in your emails, and a system around that. So, or if you record any of your calls, you can say, match my tone here. And I did this for my Claude system, and I realized how much I said the words excited and super excited, and that's great. And it started to match this sort of very happy golden retriever energy, and I'm not mad about it because it really sounds like me. So now when I reply to emails, it sounds like me, which is great. It's a good little hack when it comes to connecting your tone. Number 4 is find the skill that comes naturally and automate other things. And this is something that you can journal about. You can think about your favorite day at work, your favorite things to do at work, and find those skills that really light you up, because they're the skills that are going to be super valuable, because you will be best at them because you enjoy them so much. Number 5 is just a fun one, and I think getting into your creative spirit. So there's this cool platform called Suno where you can write a script in ChatGPT or Claude and upload it into Suno, and it will make you a song for you. And it just sort of makes AI a bit fun and playful again. And it's not all these systems and automations. You can actually start to have a bit of fun with it. If you have a friend who has a birthday, making them a Suno song with AI about them is always a fun little task to do. And I think it's important to have fun with AI because it can feel very heavy and very difficult. So when you start to have fun with it, that's when your creativity comes alive. And number 6, join a community of women learning AI and swap tips. Love community, love connecting with people, and this is a really important part to bridge this gap. Automating boring tasks with an agent tool like Phantom Buster. This is one of my favorite outreach tools. I use Phantom Buster to send lots of messages that I don't necessarily want to send. So anytime you find a task that really weighs you down, that gets you out of your natural women creativity lens, then you can use these various tools. Connecting your finances with API tools so you can get instant reports. Reporting was something that I used to struggle with a lot, and this was something that took me out of that creative, emotionally intelligent state. So I found a way to automate reporting and send regular updates. So every Monday I get a full report about where all the ad accounts are at, where our finances are at, and this helps me stay on track with things. Another fun one is just trying Gemini's image generator to make really lifelike images. I highly recommend people playing around with creativity and image generation tools like Gemini, and then building system around your style using various Claude features or different features of the LLM. So if you think about you learning AI in a masculine sense and setting up all these automations, that's great. But if you think about you learning AI in your own style with your own skills and your own tone, it really sets you apart and it helps you build that competitive advantage. And these skills are going to be the skills of the future. And the message I sent back to this woman who I told you about at the start that was really struggling with her AI journey, I said, you're not behind yet. And the reason why I truly believe this is because women are so competitively and well placed in AI with the level of skill that comes naturally to us, that all these things are going to start to be automated, while things like emotional intelligence, relational intelligence, beauty, tone, and creativity will become such highly sought after skills of the future. And if we can start to adopt these into our systems now, we're going to really change the way we see AI. And I would love to connect with you all on LinkedIn and share some information about Tech Ready Women and some of the training we do. I host a bunch of conferences and training teaching women how to adopt AI in a way that's natural to them. So love to connect with you. Feel free to connect on this QR code to my LinkedIn and send me a message. I always enjoy hearing from people and hearing any struggles or things that you've faced with learning AI. And it's been a true pleasure, and I would really love to hear from you. Thank you so much.
That was amazing, Mia. Really appreciated every single detail that you had in there. It was so objective, and we have a couple of questions so far. And while I bring those questions to you, we probably can encourage other folks. If you have questions, please use this forum. If not, you can always reach out to Mia. Mia's LinkedIn was there on the QR code, but I also shared that in email with you. It's also in this video's description, and it's also pinned in the chat right now, live on YouTube. All right. So the first question
Amazing.
from Sheetal: how do you train people to use AI as a conversational partner rather than a simple search box? I know it's a deep architecture question, but I just wanted to bring that question to you. I mean, are you able to are you able to hear me? Okay, Mia.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, of course. So can you hear me okay? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
train people to use AI as a conversational partner rather than a simple search box. So AI is taking you give it and trying to create an estimated guess on what you want. And so a lot of people see AI as a tech tool, but it's actually a communication tool. So the more communication you can give to it, the higher output it gives you. So one step that I would start with is you should start with using voice to text instead. So you can use the voice feature or whisper flow, and this helps you produce content 3 to 4 times faster. And then if you want to start to move it away from just the chat box, highly recommend starting to use a platform like Claude, where you can build out agents in co-work, you can build out skills that can repeat tasks, you can develop scheduled skills in within move build this or set up an agent, and it's all done through the spoken word. So you can speak into it what you would like build to saying, how do I build this? Tell me what would be a good thing to build. And that's the next step that people should start to get to, is going from chatting to it to building things.
That's awesome. Thanks, Mia. And we'll take one more question because we have about 5 minutes left, and probably you want to take this one a little more in detail because I think it calls for it. Beyond UI and prompt design, what organizational changes in AI development teams are most critical to ensure products, quote unquote, feels like us for women?
Yeah, this is a great question. So something I touched on earlier in the presentation is giving your automations and agents personalities. This is something that isn't spoken about enough, but you think about a customer service agent, you think about a finance agent, a business trainer agent. The more personality you can give the agents you create, the better outputs they produce. And you can give them the best personalities ever, the highest paid, amazing salespeople that will do incredible work for you. So the way that you can start to build personality in your agents is you can first start off with a job title description from like one of these job platforms. Then you can find someone who embodies that person. So obviously I'm in business, so I love Alex Hormozi, so it can be like him, or you can find someone that resonates with that, and you place them in a role in your business and create an agent around them. So an agent personality might have 10 or 20 different skills that they're operating in. So they might be doing your Monday report, they might be doing your profit and loss statement, they might be doing your financial tracking. But if they have a personality that's like, you're someone that you have such a high attention to detail, and you always go and reference certain things, or you always make sure that you're checking in with me to make sure it's right or wrong before going ahead with the next step. So instead of just producing content or information like anybody else would, it builds the personality into it, so they know how to operate, they know how to think, they know how to respond, and you get way better outputs just by giving it, not only telling the steps, but giving it a personality as well.
Awesome. Thanks for that. And another question is for AI systems used in women's safety. Again, this is slightly a little bit of an architectural question, but I can just read it out. You see how much you want to answer it here. For AI systems used in women's safety, how can we test reliability in real world conditions and reduce false negatives when a genuine emergency is missed?
Yeah, this security emergency questions are super important. And I will say that I'm not a cybersecurity and security expert, and it is a shared responsibility between yourself, the platforms, and if you have a cybersecurity provider as well. And when it comes to like, there's a couple of different layers to this, and I know that we're running out of time, but the first just general layer to ensuring safety is making sure that you can even ask your LLM this. You can say, tell me all of the safety risks when it comes to using this tool, and it will produce a safety risk. And then you can even ask your LLM to like tell you what to fix and what to change and what to update with all of your safety settings. This is what, and sometimes you can even say, all right, suggest, like you can put into your context file, never let me put in sensitive information about this, or never let it do this. And there are a bunch of safety and security tools as well that you can use, that you can embed within your platform. I use one called a Rebi that redacts personal and private information. And even if I clumsily put something into it that's sensitive information, it will actually redact that information. Also, larger companies like Akamai have entire systems that ensure safety of usage of LLMs within staff and teams. So there's a lot of really important providers that you can work with and tools that you can work with. And then it does come down to you being very diligent about your safety as well, because even though these platforms say we're a safe and secure platform, you always have to take that with a grain of salt and do regular security checks and invest in security and safety software to make sure that you're protected.
That's awesome. Thanks, Mia. Thanks for that detailed response. And there's one more question, but I just that's in the same lines of AI security. So I would request Roshni to refer to the previous response that we just had, and I hope this session, just as I thought, it was everything that I thought it would be and more. Like you gave some practical tools, and also there's a forum for folks to look at and connect with you, and also any other upcoming session or anything that you want to. That you already shared with the communities, with the tech communities and the women communities out there. I think they'll all be able to follow that from your LinkedIn. If there is something else, or if you have a site or something that they can refer for materials on that front or any assets, please feel free to share that as well in this chat, Mia. I'll post it on the YouTube description. You also have the link to the on-demand video, Mia, if you want to take a look at questions that come up later. And if you want to address any of those, feel free to do that too. Do you have any website or something that you want to share?
Yeah, sure. I'll share my training website, and yeah, anybody who wants to get training within the organization. I used to live in Bangalore for 2 years, so love visiting Bangalore, and would always be happy to fly back to India to do any training if anyone needs it. Yeah, so link to my website there. But no, it's been a true pleasure, and I think that there's so much information out there about how people can automate things and do tech setups, and that's often the type of training that I do. I thought this was a really special time to touch on such an important issue, that women are not using AI enough like themselves, and things that can help them internally and their mindset gain a competitive advantage with AI. And as soon as I did it, everything just became lighter and brighter, and AI became a lot more fun again. So I really hope that people, I know you're all very technical and very practical, and I am as well. So I hope it was a nice reminder that you can absolutely be yourself with AI. And the more you are yourself and tap into your feminine intelligence, the better and more lucrative the AI journey becomes.
That's absolutely a wonderful way to put it. And also, me, I would encourage you to write a book on all these soft skills and concepts around AI that you brought up today. And I think there is something really inspiring. Some things that we overlook in our day to day chase, in our day to day, the things that we are hustling after, right? We just forget the most important things which you just mentioned. I think that deserves a book of its own.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, it was so lovely being here. Thank you so much for the
Thanks, Mia.
opportunity, and would love to hear from you all.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for staying with us through this live. And if you think that this is useful and for you and for your community members, your colleagues, friends, family, feel free to share this video. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you all in the rest of Pachamama 2026. And thank you, everyone. And Mia will also be joining us in the finale online in our panel virtually. She'll be joining us from Australia, of course. But yeah, let's see her again then. Thank you so much.
Very
Thanks, Mia.
excited. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.